RCMP say a 6-year-old who disappeared from his home has been found dead. An RCMP update after midnight. Police say the death is not considered suspicious and they will not release the cause of death.
If you believe Lilly and Jack deserve true justice, hit subscribe now, because only our combined voices can keep this case in the spotlight. Tonight, you'll learn the shocking details the RCMP hasn't shared. Why the polygraph began with "Did you kill Lilly and Jack?", why their mother fled at midnight with her baby sister, and how a family cousin claims he knows exactly where Jack is being hidden. Stick with me as we dive deep into every twist, every timeline gap, every unanswered question in the race to bring Jack home. It was just past midnight when the RCMP issued a terse bulletin. A 6-year-old child's body had been discovered. No further details were released, only that it was not considered suspicious and that the cause of death would remain private for now. Even as authorities worked to identify that child, the announcement sent a shockwave through a province already on edge. For 6 weeks, hundreds of volunteers, K-9 units, drone pilots, dive teams, and 11 divisions of the RCMP had combed dense forests, marshy bogs, and winding riverbanks in search of 6-year-old Lilly Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack. They had tracked more than 500 public tips, reviewed hundreds of hours of private camera footage, and uncovered 2 small boot prints leading into the woods. Then nothing. Now, with the tragic discovery of an unrelated child, every searcher, every detective, every forensic team shifted focus with renewed urgency. 4-year-old Jack's life might depend on the very next clue. By dawn, Nova Scotia's government had mobilized its highest-level resources. Under the Unsolved Major Crimes Program, Premier Tim Houston announced an unprecedented $150,000 reward for information leading to Lilly and Jack, double the usual maximum. Attorney General Becky Druin, her voice quivering on live television, reminded viewers of the 122 active files in the program. The overwhelming majority involve homicides or disappearances under tragic circumstances. She stressed that they offered this reward because time was running out for Jack, and because Lilly's memory demands nothing less than their full effort. That announcement rippled through communities from the heart of Halifax to the Mi'kmaq communities of Sipek and Katic. Social media posts exploded with the hashtag Find Lilly and Jack. Local radio talk shows shifted around-the-clock coverage, and grassroots vigil groups formed nightly outside the Stellarton RCMP detachment. Yet beneath those flickering candles lay a grim truth. This was no longer just a missing persons mystery. It was, in the eyes of government and investigators, a potential homicide probe with a rapidly ticking clock. At the heart of this unfolding drama stands Daniel Martell, the children's stepfather. Within 24 hours of the initial 911 call, major crimes detectives, rarely deployed so swiftly, were on his doorstep. Their early involvement signaled presumption of foul play and placed Martell squarely under suspicion. Instead of waiting for formal charges, investigators pursued a comprehensive interview process. Martell handed over his phone, GPS data, and banking records. He volunteered for a polygraph, described by him as a NASA-grade interrogation, in which examiners strapped pads under his forearms, buttocks, and feet, fitted a sweat gland sensor on a finger, and wrapped a blood pressure cuff around his arm. When the examiner's first question was, "Did you kill Lilly and Jack?" stress hormones surged through his body. Yet within minutes of the test conclusion, Martell was told, "You passed," and investigators assured him their suspicion had tapered off. But passing a polygraph does not equal innocence. Physiological responses can be influenced by anxiety, training, or intent. Even today, police maintain that every missing person case is considered suspicious until conclusively proven otherwise. Martell's ordeal illustrates a fine line between cooperation and continued scrutiny, a line that hasn't moved for Jack's sake. Less than 48 hours after the discovery of that 6-year-old's body, Malehya Brooks-Murray, Lilly and Jack's mother, vanished. She blocked Martell on social media, changed her relationship status to single, and fled in the dead of night with baby Meadow in her arms. Child Protection Services reacted immediately, placing Meadow under 24-hour protective care with relatives. Now Malehya finds herself separated from all 3 of her children, under orders to avoid contact with any minors. Her abrupt departure fueled speculation. Did she panic at having been eased into suspicion by investigators, or was she protecting family? The public remains divided, but the official message is clear. Malehya's actions complicate the hunt for Jack and deepen the case's human drama. Completing the family triangle is Cody Sullivan, the children's biological father. On the morning after the disappearance, RCMP officers arrived at his home between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, seeking assurance that Lilly and Jack were not hidden there. 3 weeks later, he was formally interviewed for 90 minutes in a police cruiser. He had not seen the children in over 3 years, a fact that investigators confirmed through digital and school records. Police released him with the comment that he was no longer a person of interest. Yet the very act of early morning questioning left Cody and his family feeling scrutinized and under a cloud, reminding us how quickly suspicion can spread across family lines. Accurate timing is vital. But here, it collapses into uncertainty. The last confirmed sighting occurred on May 1st in the afternoon, when cameras at a New Glasgow shopping center captured Martell walking with Lilly, Jack, and baby Meadow. The reported disappearance came on May 2nd, when Martell said he noticed the children missing around 9:40 in the morning. A 911 call was logged at 10:03, though dispatch logs hint at earlier times. Between the afternoon of May 1st and the reported disappearance on May 2nd stretches a 19 to 20-hour window, a lost block of time when no one outside the family saw the children. To close that gap, police requested private camera footage not just from May 2nd, but from April 28th onward, a 5-day window. Reviewing hundreds of hours of door cam, dash cam, and trail cam footage across an 8-kilometer radius takes weeks, but investigators hope to spot a suspicious vehicle or stranger who appeared in that critical period. Search strategy was rigorous. Ground search teams covered 5.5 square kilometers of pine-studded forest, acid bogs, and fallen timber. K-9 units followed scent grids. Reports called it perfect tracking conditions, yet no scent trail emerged beyond 2 boot prints. Drone pilots employed forward-looking infrared cameras at dawn and dusk, scanning canopy gaps for heat signatures. Dive teams probed ponds, culverts, and riverbanks within a 1-kilometer radius, finding no evidence of a water-related accident. Only a few orphaned items surfaced: a pink blanket, a single child's shirt, and a water bottle, all not belonging to Lilly or Jack. Retired RCMP dog handler Glenn Brown described it as the most perplexing sight he'd ever encountered. In ideal conditions, he said, dogs always pick up something. This time, they found nothing. Critics slammed the absence of an Amber Alert. Under RCMP policy, an Amber Alert requires clear evidence of abduction, vehicle details, license plates, or a known suspect. In this case, police issued a vulnerable person alert instead, with photos on highway signs and social media advisories, but no province-wide phone alerts. Elder Marie Bernard of the Sipek and Katic First Nation exploded in protest. If Lilly and Jack were non-Indigenous, we have seen an Amber Alert in minutes. Petitions for reform garnered over 20,000 signatures, pushing Halifax legislators to pledge emergency alert protocol reviews. Meanwhile, social media rumors ran rampant. Conspiracy pages claimed the RCMP was covering up evidence. TikTok sleuths posted leaked interview clips. Facebook groups circulated unverified tips. Canadian legal experts warned that defamatory posts could trigger Cyber Protection Act lawsuits. RCMP spokespeople urged the public not to rely on rumors, but to report anything credible to 902-485-4333 or Crime Stoppers. In the digital age, corrections rarely go viral, and misinformation threatens to drown out genuine leads. Former family crimes detective Michelle Jeans labeled the case unprecedented, citing 2 key anomalies: a 48-hour observation gap before the disappearance was reported, and a complete absence of physical evidence despite ideal tracking conditions. Criminologist Michael Artfield of Western University was even more blunt. Statistically, 2 young children don't vanish without a trace. This defies every pattern in missing child investigations. Either investigators are dealing with an expert abductor, or someone inside the home orchestrated an impossible vanishing act. Just as investigators felt they'd exhausted every avenue, Darren Geddes, a contractor and cousin to Malehya, made a bombshell radio appearance. Geddes declared, "Those kids are alive, I'm 1,000% sure," and claimed Malehya and a small circle of confidants smuggled Lilly and Jack out in a vehicle. He knew the driver. He said He knew the drop-off point somewhere beyond the search grid, and that Malehya panicked after hearing his name on air, fleeing her mother's house with baby Meadow in tow. Police neither confirmed nor denied Geddes' version, simply reiterating their mantra: we explore all investigative leads. That open-ended stance allows RCMP to pursue tantalizing rumors, witness sightings in Pictou County, unverified border crossing reports in Maine, without revealing which leads hold weight, keeping every potential lane open. As legislative hearings loom in Halifax, stakeholders point to systemic breakdowns. Child Protection Services had opened a file on Lilly and Jack months before, indicating pre-existing concerns never fully addressed. Amber Alert criteria are under urgent review to ensure vulnerable rural and indigenous communities receive timely alerts. Major Crimes Activation on Day 2 confirmed RCMP feared the worst from the outset. Advocates pushed for joint liaison officers between RCMP and First Nations, streamlined emergency alert triggers for remote areas, and mandatory cross-agency data sharing on at-risk families. Lilly and Jack's case underscores how policy gaps can cost precious hours. Though active ground searches have shifted to targeted forensic efforts, public participation remains crucial. If you have dash cam, door cam, or trail cam footage from April 28th to May 2nd within an 8-kilometer radius, share it. Share this video to keep Lilly and Jack's story visible across platforms. Call Pictou County RCMP at 902-485-4333 or Crime Stoppers anonymously. Press for Amber Alert and CPS reforms in your community. Every clip, every tip, every voice can be the thread that unravels this tangled mystery. A 6-year-old child's life lost, 2 siblings vanished, a stepfather tested, a mother in flight, a biological father cleared, and a cousin's explosive theory. Shocking surprises lurk in every corner. Now, 4-year-old Jack's fate hangs by a thread. If you believe in true justice, hit subscribe now. Click like to show you stand with Lilly and Jack. Share your theories and tips in the comments. Your voice could save a life. Because only together can we bring Jack home and honor Lilly's memory by ensuring no child is lost without justice.